Welcome to The Catholic Entrepreneur. I'm Matt Pinto. The purpose of this show is to find that integration, that difficult integration between one's faith, one's family, one's work life. And it's a question that I struggle with, and perhaps you do as well. We're going to address that today with a friend of mine, Philadelphia. I've had you on before, Jim Delaney. Good to be with you. I'd like to thank the sponsor of this show, Mission Advantage. If you're looking to place a senior level position in your Catholic organization, look at the show notes for the website for Mission Advantage. Thank you again for your sponsorship. Let me share a little bit about my guest so you know who's speaking to you today. Jim is a serial entrepreneur. He has a very big Catholic heart, giving his time along with his wife, Jackie, to many, many good causes. Jim is the founder, the former president, CEO of J.G. Wentworth, a very prominent company whose commercials you've probably have seen before. What is it? 1-800, what's
1-800-CASH-NOW.
1-800-CASH-NOW. If you need structured settlement, J.G. Wentworth.
You got to sing it, Matt. If you need a structured settlement and you need cash now, call J.G. Wentworth. Very good.
So get on YouTube and you'll remember the questions, I'm sure. So Jim has done many things, and I think this is why he's going to be a good guest for our topic, the balanced entrepreneur. Are you out of balance in the various aspects of your life? If that is the case, I think we're going to have some good things to talk about today. So Jim, you and I, a couple of months ago, we were thinking about topics. We honed on this topic as one. Why is this topic of the balanced entrepreneur one that came to mind quickly for you?
Because, Matt, everybody has certain areas of their lives that draw them.
Okay.
Whether it's your work, entrepreneurship, your relationships, your physical well-being, and your spirituality.
Dare I ask, forgive me for this personal question early, have there been times over the past 40 plus years of your work and family life where you've been out of balance and that's why it's an important topic to you?
Absolutely. I don't know many people that have not been out of balance.
Yeah.
It's a learning process and a journey.
Yeah. I think one reason why I latched onto this topic is because, I know this all too well. I went about 25 years, Jim, from about 20 years, 25 to 45, when I didn't do hardly any exercise. So I think this is why it resonated. Jim, what are the fruits of being in balance, and what are the negative fruits of being out of balance?
You reduce stress.
Okay.
Your heart. You enhance the relationships, whether it's with your wife, your partner, your business partners, whoever it is.
You would probably say you're a better entrepreneur when you're in balance. And in the 20 years that I ran Ascension Press, publishing company, there were 3 instances, maybe 4, when I was just kind of fried and I needed to turn to my COO to really take much of the reins for, a number of weeks or a number of months. So I actually think that I was probably positively hurting myself by being out of balance and the mission.
Understand, Matt, entrepreneurship and being in balance is a journey, okay? It's a life journey. I went into business very young. I was 28 years old when I started my first business. At that point in time, I was married. I had 2 young children. 2 and 3 years old. I had to work, and I was out of balance. What kept me in balance was my partner, my wife. We had meetings every week. We still have the meetings today, by the way, but we had meetings every week where we discussed what was going on. She knew I was out of balance. She accepted that. She encouraged me to do what I had to do. She would take care of one piece of it, and I would go the other. I would take care of the rest of it. But as far as I was out of balance, I worked Saturdays, Sundays. I worked, and again,
sure,
to get something off the ground is not easy. But I truly had a teammate. I had a partner.
So for those of you listening, and believe me, I'm hearing this as well, what are the fruits of being balanced? And then I'm going to ask the other question again.
Specifically, you reduce stress. Stress kills people. Okay, 50% of the marriages in this country end up in divorce. entrepreneurs is higher because of lack of communication, because of stress. Again, the personal relationships that are effective when you're an entrepreneur and in business can bring you down, can burn you out.
Yeah. How common do you think, would your guess be that the average entrepreneur is more out of balance than in balance? I mean, that would be my guess, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, because especially today, and we all have the times, we're facing burnout. We're facing challenges that seem insurmountable. Mm-hmm. But we have to hand it over. And if we can hand that over to prayer, it gets you through it. And it's got me through a lot.
Mother Teresa's sisters were complaining to her that the 1 hour of adoration, they were too busy, to which he then prescribed 3 hours of adoration. As I've read lives of the saints, over the past 500, 700, 800 years or so, the stories of saints, at how fertile they were, planning monasteries, building schools, like Mother Cabrini. I just heard that she was averaging like a new school or a new big initiative like every 6 or 7 months.
It's funny you mention that because I just saw the Mother Cabrini movie. And, her passion and desire to succeed surpassed everything. I mean, she wouldn't take no for an answer. But you ask, where'd that come from? She was a nun. That came from something greater than her. It wasn't Mother Cabrini. It wasn't a little Italian nun from Italy who delivered that, who built an organization larger than Carnegie and Rockefeller. Mm. It was something above that. And she recognized that. I really believe she recognized that, and that drove her. She was sickly. It was her prayer and her belief in something much, much bigger than her.
Mm. There's a Bible verse, seek first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and all these things will be given unto you besides. And again, let me start by saying I've infracted on that many times, but that has right-oriented me a number of times. What are your thoughts on this concept?
Being balanced is a journey, okay? And you learn from your journey. My initial journey was work, okay? But I had the relationship with my partner. As you move on, okay,
your marriage partner.
My marriage partner, yeah, right. Jackie. As you move on, okay, and you succeed, you start realizing that I'm succeeding, but there's something greater than me. The minute I think that I am myself, I am doing this, it's me, it's all about Jim, is the minute I will begin to fail.
Mm. What causes imbalance? Entrepreneurs who are listening, maybe they feel that they're out of balance. I've certainly been out of balance. What do you think causes imbalance?
You prioritized certain things that you believe were the most important in your life. You didn't have the chance, and you thought that, okay? You didn't have the chance to sit down and, that's why you mentioned adoration. If you sit there in adoration and you ask and you talk to Jesus and ask him, what's going on? How come, I feel the way I do? How come my life is not what I think it should be? How come I can't get to the gym? The gym's not my priority. My work's all my priority. Is that really where I want to go? You have to talk to somebody, okay? And like I said, I talked to my spouse. I talked to Jackie. I went to adoration. I asked the questions of how I could be better. And it's a journey because when I first started out, Matt, I was going 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay, I don't know how I did it, but I had to do it to get the business off. And fortunately, I lucked out. And within 2 years, I built a business by myself to 15 employees, and I sold it to a public company within a short period of time. So I learned things. And then the next business, I was better. Then I got more involved with the church. I got more involved with my spirituality. But it's that journey. It doesn't happen at once.
Mm. The church uses this incredible phrase, the integrated life. And I guess a picture in my mind would be those 4 phrases that you said earlier: vocation, which is work, relationships, physical, spiritual, faith. I guess that means that you're integrating all 4. Have you heard this phrase before? Has it impacted you? What are your thoughts?
It's all about the integrated life. I mean, if you want to be joyful, and like I said, I have joy being an entrepreneur. I have joy being married. I have joy with my kids. I had joy coaching my kids. I have joy playing racquetball with my best friend for 35 years. I've integrated all those joys and try to give the proper amount to each one. Even though I've been always challenged, specifically being an entrepreneur, by pulling me away from certain things. But it has to be a mindset that, for your own benefit, you have to address all these other areas of your life.
I wonder if this might be a quick litmus test that anyone who's listening could do kind of right now. And the test is that if you don't have a sense of joy in work, in relationship, in maybe the physical integration of life, experiencing life, and then your faith, if you don't have a joy in one of them, that might be a bell going off that maybe you're out of bounds.
Absolutely, Matt. I mean, I think you got to define between happiness and joy. Happiness is, I got a bonus, I'm going to go out and buy a new car, or I'm going to go do something. Okay. Joy is, working with your kids. Joy is giving back. I get as much joy out of my continuing entrepreneur activities as I do of running a homeless retreat at Malvern Retreat House up here. And seeing the faces of those people brings me joy. I go home at bed at night and can put my head on the pillow and get a great night's sleep. By working with homeless people, or by being on the phone all day doing my entrepreneurship, or going to dinner with my wife. They're all joys, but they got to be in balance.
Right. Okay. So what would you say to someone listening right now who's sensing that something is off? What do you suggest to someone?
Talk to somebody. Again, when I said adoration, talk to Jesus. Talk to your spouse. Talk to your business partners. Talk to your boss. If you go out on Wednesday nights and you play 5-on-5 pickup, talk to the guys. Have a beer. Communication gets you out of all this. I have a lot of people that I trust and I can talk about things. And if I start leaning one way or the other, I want somebody to tell me. Mm-hmm. I may not know, but I want a friend. I want somebody to say, hey, Jim, I saw Jackie the other day. She wasn't smiling the way she was yesterday. Mm-hmm. Okay, I can become more imbalanced because I loved Jackie. I love the entrepreneurship. I love playing racquetball, and it's that challenge of that.
I read something within the past week. I forget the context. Actually, it was a seminar at the parish for parents just on mental health of kids, and it said if you name it, you can then start to manage it, but you need to name it first. And your contention is naming it could very well come just by speaking to people who you know and trust.
No, it's like the saying in business. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it.
Yeah.
Okay, right. If you can't name it, you have to identify things before you can even get into and manage it or work with it or know the problem. And a lot of times the problem will evade you because you are joyful in your work. Mm-hmm. You're joyful in the things you're doing.
Yeah.
But you could be joyful over here, and you would be if you recognize it. But you get on this bandwagon, and all of a sudden the other things start falling apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they can fall apart very quick and very bad.
Yeah. Well, that I'm going to focus on that bad in just a second. I think maybe for those of you who are listening, just a quick test that you can do, and believe me, I'm speaking to myself here. If you're married, go to your spouse, tonight, tomorrow. In fact, I'm going to do it and say, out of these 4 areas of life, are you sensing that any of these are out of balance? And maybe get the counsel of 1 or 2 people in case they're biased in some regard. So.
I couldn't recommend them more, Matt. And she has no problem letting me know what I'm out of balance.
That's great. Just kind of a sobering reminder to us all again. What are the negative fruits of being out of balance?
Well, one of the major ones is burnout. Okay, you can get burnout. You burn yourself out by doing too much. I enjoy the entrepreneur. I love being an entrepreneur. 18 hours a day, every day of the week. I'm going to burn out.
Yeah.
It's like these kids that play soccer all year round.
Yeah, right.
By the time you get in high school, I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah, right.
Okay, it's the same thing. Strained relationships. Okay.
Got it.
Obviously, you're doing this, that relationship at home, like I mentioned, 50% of people that get married end up in divorce. You go to Wall Street, you go to Wall Street, you go to entrepreneurs, it's higher.
Yeah, right.
Why? Their focus is on their other parts of their lives.
I heard a bishop say one time, the bishop asked John Paul II in a private meeting what the definition of a fanatic was in John Paul II's mind. And John Paul II evidently said, when piece of pie becomes whole pie, when a piece of your life becomes the whole of your life. So I wonder if that's applicable here. Give us the fruits of an integrated life, a balanced life.
Enhance personal relationships with your spouse, with your partners, with anybody you're dealing with, because you recognize
The Lord even, too.
and the Lord.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Yeah.
And the Lord. How many people? I mean, I know a number of people who worked hard and did everything, and all of a sudden, they're 50 years old and they got a heart attack.
Yeah.
Okay, where'd that come from? Didn't come from a balanced life, I'll tell you.
Got it.
To put everything together is just increased satisfaction in your life. The joy of everything, not one thing.
Awesome. Very good, very good. Jim Delaney, thanks for being with me again.
Great, Matt. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to thank our sponsor of this show, Mission Advantage. If you're hiring in the Catholic world, looking for a senior level position, visit missionadv.org. You can also see their link in the show notes below. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to your being with us again.